Welcome to This Explainer. We usually think of architecture as towering skyscrapers or massive bridges, right? But today, we're zooming way in. We are looking at architecture on a microscopic scale, the kind you can actually eat.
So think about this for a second. Who actually cooked your breakfast today? You're probably thinking, I did, or maybe someone in your family. But here is the wild truth. If you had a fluffy piece of bread, a dosa, or a bowl of creamy curd this morning, you had a lot of help. We're talking trillions of unseen heroes prepping your meal before it ever hit your plate.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1. Meet your invisible chefs, the microbes behind the meals. For the longest time, microbes just got a bad rap, right? People just thought of them as germs, stuff you gotta wash away or avoid at all costs. But we are totally reframing that today. These tiny organisms are basically highly skilled microscopic culinary workers. And their signature cooking technique, fermentation. Now, fermentation is this natural metabolic process where microbes completely transform ingredients. And the absolutely crucial part here is that they're improving both the flavor and the nutritional quality of our food. They aren't just breaking it down, they are completely upgrading it. This kind of metabolic wizardry is the scientific foundation for everything we're about to cover.
Section 2. The magic of dairy. Transforming milk into curd.
I find this absolutely fascinating. Think about just ordinary milk. It's a simple, liquid ingredient. But give it a little time and the right invisible chefs, and it transforms into this thick, rich, creamy curd. So how does that actually happen? Well, the hero of our dairy bowl is lactic acid bacteria, or LAB for short. This whole crew includes strains of lactobacillus. These specific bacteria literally thrive in milk. What they do is gorge on the lactose, which, is the natural sugar in milk, and through fermentation, they convert that sugar straight into lactic acid. So how's that magic actually happening in your kitchen? It's basically a simple three-step process. Step 1, you drop a starter culture, scientifically called an inoculum, into fresh milk. Now usually, this is just a tiny spoonful of curd from an older batch. But man, that little spoonful is packed with millions of microscopic workers. Step 2, you keep it warm. They multiply like crazy and get right to work fermenting that lactose into lactic acid. And finally, Step 3. That brand new lactic acid makes the milk proteins coagulate or clump up while partially digesting them at the same time. The grand finale? That beautifully creamy curd we all absolutely love.
And here's the thing. These LAB workers aren't just making your food taste deliciously tart and creamy. They're literally turning it into a superfood. This whole fermentation process seriously boosts the milk's nutritional value, cranking up the levels of vitamin B12. Plus, because those proteins are already partially digested during the whole coagulation thing, the curd becomes way easier for your body to process. And if that wasn't enough, having LAB around actually suppresses harmful microbes and keeps your gut healthy. So yeah, your tiny chefs are basically guarding your health from the inside out.
Moving right along to Section 3, Rising Dough and Batter, the science of fluffy food.
Let's step out of the dairy fridge for a second and head over to the baking sheet. We're talking about the origins of our favorite baked and steamed goods, stuff like dosa, idli, and bread. Just think about the sheer contrast between raw dough and baked bread. Raw dough, it's flat, it's dense, it's super hard to digest. Honestly, it's practically inedible like that. But then, look at the finished product. You get these light, fluffy, perfectly aerated baked goods. That whole before and after glow-up is 100% thanks to our microbial agents putting in the work.
So let's meet another kitchen superstar. Scientifically, it's called Saccharomyces cerevisiae, but you probably just know it as baker's yeast. It is an absolutely vital microbial hero in bread making. And what's super cool here is that the microbial agents powering our doughs, they often just come straight from the surrounding environment or from a piece of older, previously fermented dough. They literally breathe life and volume right into the bread we eat. But what is the yeast actually doing in there? Well, the secret is carbon dioxide. There's this process called alcoholic fermentation, where the bacteria and yeast feast on the sugars in the dough and then they release carbon dioxide gas. This invisible gas gets totally trapped inside the dough, pushing it upward and outward. Talk about the ultimate leavening effect. That trapped gas is the exact reason your bread, your idli, and your dosa get that incredibly soft, airy texture we all crave.
Okay, Section 4. Global Traditions in Health. Microbes around the world. Let's zoom out a bit, shall we? We've talked about everyday kitchen staples, but these tiny architects are actually the mastermind behind huge cultural traditions and delicacies all over the globe. The versatility of these microbes is just mind-blowing. Think about toddy, a traditional beverage fermented straight from palm sap. Then you have all sorts of fermented fish products and fermented soybeans that literally act as the flavor backbone for entire global cuisines. Oh, and Roquefort cheese, famous for that incredibly rich flavor profile, which, by the way, is uniquely crafted by very specific molds and bacteria. Different microbes creating completely distinct, world-renowned flavors.
And actually, speaking of cheese, I've got to share this fun fact. You know those iconic giant holes in Swiss cheese? Okay, get ready for this. They are essentially just trapped microbial burps. No joke. Just like the carbon dioxide that makes your bread rise, the gases released during microbial metabolism in the cheese-making process just get trapped as the cheese solidifies. It creates those famous pockets of empty space. Honestly, it's just a great reminder that our food is alive with activity way before we ever take a bite.
So here's the crucial takeaway. Microbes are vital ingredients in the rich tapestry of our culinary world. They aren't just random microscopic life forms floating around out there. They are highly active, entirely essential participants in our diets. When we actually understand how they make our curd, puff up our bread, and craft these fermented treats, we can really start to appreciate how deeply connected our daily lives are with these completely natural processes.
Which brings us right to our final thought. The next time you sit down to eat, will you remember to thank your microscopic chefs? Because whether it's the tartness of your morning curd, the fluffiness of your toast, or the rich flavor of a slice of cheese, you really owe the whole shebang to those trillions of tiny architects working tirelessly on your kitchen table.